This is Gasak Ma Keperu with Project Illuminated, and today I want to talk to you about creating an entity. Now, many of you may say, oh, this sounds scary, and I don't want to really do anything like this because it's getting into the dark side. Well, it's not. The technique I'm going to share with you is something that's very natural, and to some degree or another, you do it every day. But now you're going to take control of it, understand your power, and use it for bringing you prosperity and wealth. So how do we create an entity? More important, why would we create an entity? For two reasons. Number one, we create an entity to send an entity on a mission for us, to bring us a mate, to bring us wealth, to help resolve an issue that we're facing, maybe at work or with bills or a court case. The entity can help you with that. The other thing that we can do is the entity can bring you attributes and skills that you don't normally have that you may need. If you're going for a job, if you're trying to learn a new program, like PHP or something of that nature, the entity that you create will be able to endow you with those powers. So it's a very lengthy and complicated process, so I'm going to give you the short version, but just pay attention to certain key things I'm saying because they will be of high relevance. The first thing that's important is trance state. You must be able to meditate and get into the alternate state of consciousness to actually work with and create the entity. So you're going to sit down, you're going to meditate. You have to think of the objective you want to achieve or that you want the entity to achieve. Okay, so the first step is, let's say for example, I wanted wealth. So I would meditate, go into a very, very deep state of alternate consciousness or meditation and envision myself in an alternate universe or an alternate earth, a different place and time where I'm very wealthy. Maybe I'm a billionaire and I have an office at this high skyscraper and I'm supervising a lot of other businessmen who are international businessmen and we're conducting trade or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But now here's the key thing. The first thing I said was the trance induction. You have to really be into a deep state of trance. The other thing is that when you envision this aspect of you, you've got to change the image in some way, shape, or form. And what do I mean by that? In NLP, it's called a submodality. And it's also what you're doing is called modeling. So what is a submodality? Meaning you're going to change how the image looks of you. It's going to be a very bright colors that the image is going to be, or the image of you will be bigger. Maybe it's a giant among men or women or whatever. But the image in some way, shape, or form has to kind of woo you and get your attention. In other words, if the image is a normal image of you, it's not going to excite the spirit in any way, shape, or form. So what I would do is I envision myself in this high skyscraper with my office, all gold-plated, or I see myself as a really huge person. And then once you have that in mind, then you start going through your regular interactions where you envision yourself as this billionaire doing what a billionaire would do, maybe traveling on a yacht, maybe flying in a private jet, doing things of that nature. Now, what you have to do is you have to keep doing this and repeatedly do this for at least 28 days to where you are feeding this vision of you, this image of you, energy. Very, very important. You have to be excited. And again, going back to the woo factor, you've got to envision the image, something that is going to excite you. So typically I envision it like a lot of bright colors. I may see myself running through like a grass field and the grass is very, very green, something of that nature, because green symbolizes money, wealth, and so forth, and abundance and fruition, things of that nature. So keep that in mind, that's very, very important. Now, once you do that for 28 days, what happens then is that you're feeding this image of you energy, so the image will automatically start to take on a life of its own, become an entity. At that point, you have two options. You can communicate with the entity and talk to yourself in this alternate world, alternate universe, and ask it for success secrets. Or you can ask it to go out there on a mission and to help bring you wealth or resolve a problem or right or wrong, whatever you want. You can communicate with the entity to do that because it now becomes a legitimate entity. The other thing you can do, and this is a very powerful technique, is that you can absorb the entity within you. So you do this by envisioning the entity and seeing it come into you and taking a deep, deep breath and having that energy, you absorbing that energy and becoming that version, that great version of you. And that way you will take on the attributes of that person, that billionaire, who you are in this alternate world, alternate universe. Now, one of the things that's a prerequisite you must understand that if you are creating this entity or even envisioning this entity is real, because you cannot envision non-reality or non-existence. You can't. So everything that you envision in some way, shape, or form does exist. So that's how you create an entity to go out there and do your bidding or help you or give you the skills or attributes that you need to survive in this world. And again, like I said, this is nothing that's evil or getting in contact with demonic spirits. It's something that you naturally do anyway, because you imagine yourself doing certain things, being certain people, or having a certain amount of money or wealth or happiness. So what you're going to do here is just create it in such a way that it is an intelligent being, an intelligent entity that's going to help you. And you should also know that, as I said before, we do it anyway, but we do it in the reverse. We'll entertain certain negative emotions to where we create a version of ourselves or an entity that we can't control, that goes amok, that it's an entity that is riddled with negative emotions, maybe anger, maybe jealousy, and we become very jealous, angry, and we can't control it. That means that entity is taking control of us. So what I'm showing you here is a very positive technique that will help bring to you prosperity. So try that. Like I said, a little more details to it. I gave you kind of the short version or the short technique, streamlined technique to get you there. And it works beautifully. It's wonderful. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. This is Kassanak Mod Keparu for Project Illuminated, and that's all for now.